Final O2 Ardeont on their best map type. Can they turn it around?
Here we go. Anubis will be defense first for X6. Will be BQB showing the Sombra, and Godspeed pocketed on the Widow. Not a Orisa Widow composition. It will be the defensive pocketed Widow with the Diva for protection. It will be against Dive. Attack Widow here is shown for Climax initially. We'll see if he can actually make this work. It's a pretty strong comp, O2 Ardeont, in terms of the matchup here for attack. They can get in with Ivy on the Genji. It's all about doing that damage to Godspeed, preventing him from getting line of sight control over Climax.
Very forward positioning here from the set of X6, and the first kill comes in. It's going to be Godspeed taking Climax's head off.
They took that left side defensive setup, so it's very difficult to dive the Widow. They predicted correctly that Ivy would be running the Genji. It made it so difficult for him to get in there and build ult charge, and then Godspeed was able to force Climax to show his head. He had line of sight advantage. He takes it off, as you say, and O2 Ardeont will have to push in for a second time. The best way to avoid this comp often is just force the fight onto the point, sneak your tanks onto the point, and then everyone's going to have to collapse on you. They don't have the better comp in those moments.
Godspeed throwing down that poison trap, trying to dissuade Ivy from pushing in onto him. He will go back, getting some right clicks in onto Nosefight, and they managed to take him down. Climax finding that killing blow. Now back to hunting out the enemy Widowmaker. Godspeed takes a hit, goes low. They're going to push on the ready point for X6. See if that's going to be enough to turn this thing around.
They push right onto the
back up, they're back in. That's going to be EMP down for BQB. Ivy's dead.
Do they have enough damage is the real question.
Well, right now it's just going to be Humbaba down onto the point, getting the cap. The rest of X6 healing off for the moment. First tick coming through. They managed to get it. Still have 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Ivy spamming away. Nearly has that Dragon Blade ready to go. 95%. Godspeed, though, finds the headshot to take him down.
They already used res, too.
Now
Looks like they might hold this.
Taken down. There's no DPS available. They have ultimates. Humbaba actually going to be investing that self-destruct, trying to make it back into the Mac. Can they win this one out? They managed to find a pick up there on the Bebe, but Violet's traded back, so no Zenyatta's for either side. Res there from Roki, however, so still going to be X6 and with the advantage, and now you really have to question that self-destruct from Humbaba.
Yeah, you have to question the self-destruct, but you really have to give full credit here to Godspeed, who was able to get that kill onto Ivy, prevent him from Dragon Blading and snowballing the push. Such great accuracy on this Widow, controlling line of sight. BQB is already up to another EMP here. There's going to be one more clip to get it. O2 Ardeont needs to somehow make this Dragon Blade worth it, but Transcendence can already counter it. It's just an unfortunate timing here. As you can see, BQB, one clip down, 90%, grabs this health pack. Is going to have an EMP here in just a second. Violet needs to be in a hiding spot when that happens, or he's going to be in big trouble, and so will the push. They've got one more shot at this realistically.
That's a dive in. Climax tries to jump up to the top, misses it. He keeps behind the pillar there to keep himself alive. In the meantime, Yakumo took down Godspeed. Now it's going to be Dragon Blade out. The Transcendence comes through from Bebe, hacks in onto Ivy. Fighting his way around, just looking for a target, but he does not find anything. Pretty much just going to be an air blade out from him.
They need to buy time.
Still just trying to gain control, retain it here on point A, because it's less than a minute left on the clock here for O2, and they only have that one tick ready to go. Ivy taken out, Nosefight finding the kill. And Godspeed finds the snipe yet again, takes down Climax. Yakpung dead, and X6, can they do it? Can they pull off the full hold here on Temple of Anubis, where they themselves were held by Runaway?
It looks very likely. There's no tools left for O2 Ardeont. They've run dry, and that was their best shot. Right now, you have so much control.
Finds another one.
Yeah, Violet's dead.
Another one.
And that's going to be it. That's too much. There's no way to force this point. They only have 1.5 ticks here. How can you stand up against this? BQB will build another EMP. Oh, deflect out early too. Godspeed now has free reign to harass the Genji.
Need to play out of their minds if they want to get this cap, and even then it's not going to be much time left in the bank to get the finish. Wrapping around, moving up onto the high ground, around the left-hand side here. Rhea going low.
He's pocketed though, he's kept alive.
That one. No spite, he'll die however, no primal range available, he's just 6% shy. Rhea taken out, throws down that self-destruct, finds himself a little in space as we enter into OT. Godspeed jumping over to the other side, but there's a primal range Winston chasing him down. But he's got that discorder onto him. Yakpung being targeted out, goes low, but manages to stay alive, and now now BQB's gonna be eliminated. EMP might not mean much. Ivy dead, Humbama knocked out of the mech. X6 trying to turn this one around. The res comes in, BQB's back in. Climax trying to do something, but he doesn't have a pulse bomb. He has to force out with a recall, and everybody just piles in onto this Tracer continuously. The dashes not gonna be enough. He'll get taken down. No Smite finds two. With the Primal Rage, and X6 have done it. Full hold in onto Anubis.
They were full held against Runaway. It was their only map loss in playoffs. 6-1 they came into this grand finals, but this time they're the ones who full hold. And things could not look more hopeless for O2 Ardeont now. Despite 2 teamfight wins on the point, the time-buying tactics from X6 were fantastic again. Bebe with the Transcendence, buying that time, getting the tanks back on the point. Rhea's survivability, so many times nearly DMX'd, but not, staying alive. And Climax, even though at the end there, he was able to really shake up the defensive position, get that kill onto BQB, it wasn't enough. It was not enough. He could not carry the team on his back. And now all it's going to take is virtually 2 ticks. 2 ticks and X6 will be on match point, the closest they've ever been to winning a Korean Overwatch title. And nerves feel strong on the side of O2 Ardeont. Dragonblade completely whiffing. They were not able to force out the Transcendence early. He put it into the Transcendence, not threatening the sports. That was an air blade, as you said. Their whole comp, their whole push revolved around the Genji. And he could not utilize the blade. He could not find value. And even when they got that pick onto the tank, when they got no smite down, they couldn't finish the job. Playing nervous, playing a little bit stressed out here. Not playing like they did when they defeated Element Mystic, that is for sure. And it's going to take a crazy hold here, a miracle, to win this map now.
A miracle indeed. They've already shown us that they are capable of pulling out miracles when they took down Element Mystic, but this is a grand final setting. This is the largest crowd that O2 Ardeont has ever had to play in front of. And that pressure, it just seems like it's eating away at them.
They will go back to what they're most comfortable with on this map. Ivy Junkrat, Climax Widow, the Orisa setup with Rain to pocket and Violet for the Discords. Rubbing out an early poison mine here, not gonna matter. So they are gonna look to do a very coordinated dive. The ideal target would be the Widow, but so much protection here.
Okay, there you go. That's exactly what O2 Ardeont needs. Bebe taken down. Roki gets the res off, but then he is punished by Ivy with his Junkrat.
The key is to make sure that Godspeed cannot build Dragonblade consistently. That's your biggest fear right now. One blade can give you that second tick and win you the map. The Dragonblade needs to be counterplayed. Violet needs to have the lead and Transcendence charge, which he does not now. That's the ideal situation here. And Ivy is going to have to really do well to make sure that the Genji cannot get onto this point and get free harass while Roki pockets him. A strategy that was made popular really by the Foxes here in Korea is now the standard for Genji dive. Here it comes. Ivy survives.
Trolls goes down to 8 HP, I believe I saw there. Manages to stay alive. Great satchel charge to jump backward. And the pocket coming through from Rain. Good response. O2 Ardeont not giving up any ground yet. X6-Gaming still have not even stepped in onto the point yet. Now will be piling forward here, but it's going to be the jump coming in. Violet and Ivy both going down. Rain has the Valkyrie, pops it immediately. As he gets it, BQB gets charged down by Humbaba. Alleviating some pressure as Climax gets rid of Rhea. Cosby onto the high ground, looking for that execution there on a Climax, but he cannot
the blade.
Now the blade's going to be coming in. He's seeing that self-destruct in. He has to dip out. That buys a little bit of time away from this ultimate, but he still manages to get Yakpunk. Trends back in onto Rhea. He nearly has the remake available. Actually, he is back in. My bad. Finds that one. Humbaba taken out. They're starting to tick up. Somebody
looks like match point
to get in there. Rain tries to dash forward, but he just can't do it. Deflection in. Violet trying to spam away. Can't get at the Riptire. Executes Godspeed, but that's it. That's done. X6 very swiftly close out Temple of Anubis.
And when you have a composition like this one, you're much more all in. You know, you're running the Orisa, you're running the Widow like this. If you lose control of the point one time, it's over. You're losing control of point A. And when your opponent has full health, all the pressure is on you. You have to full hold with this composition. You cannot lose one team fight. If you lose one team fight, it's over. You're done. You're 0-3. You're one map away from losing a grand finals. So much pressure there. They chose attack, or sorry, it was X6 that chose defense first, got the full hold, put that extra pressure on them with this composition. You know, when X6 was on the defense, they didn't have to hold fully to make their composition work. Not only that, but they ran a more mobile comp that could buy time. Even though they lost team fights, they could come back onto the point, and that's why they're able to get that full hold, because their comp had more flexibility. And O2 Ardeont went back to what they've shown us on this map every time, and their win streak here comes to an end in playoffs as they are finally defeated. They're down 0-3 now. Total control of this series is in X6's favor. Most expected a 4-0 or a 4-1. And sometimes in Apex Finals we had expectations broken. We saw it in many times. Looked like Liu Takai was going to lose it against Runaway. We saw GC Busan take the Royal Road title. But tonight, it may be that expectations go as planned. It may be that we just walk away with an 0-4 defeat for O2 Ardeont. No Royal Road story.
It's really starting to look that way. These guys, again, just falling short at the finish line. Just seems like they can't step up. X6, obviously, we were talking about this at the beginning of the broadcast. We've recanted it a couple times. They are the favored team coming into this matchup, but was expecting it to be a little bit more competitive between these two squads. O2 Ardeont are just crumbling here. It would seem Assault, I said, was going to be their best chance. They get full held on Temple of Anubis. It's just absolute insanity.
Total domination.
X6 said, we know the playbook of O2 Ardeont. We've studied them. We know exactly what they're going to do. So it seems like they practiced this Temple of Anubis pick, and it worked out wonderfully for them.
They had so much flexibility. Their comp had so much more mobility. They used the left side defense. They were able to swing back onto the point, counter dive. They had a great time buying there from Bebe's Transcends because he built it quicker. Massive lead right now, man.
Well, that's going to be a slight little reprieve here for the side of O2 Ardeont. They've got a couple minutes to gather their thoughts, figure out what they're going to do when we come back, because it's match point. X6, one more win, and they are our Season 1 champions. Don't go anywhere. We're back in just a few.
30초.
Here we go. It all comes down to this. This will have to be step one of the second reverse sweep we see from O2 Ardeont in playoffs here if they are to win this grand finals. Backs against the wall. This team filled with rookies. It's a Royal Roading squad. And will they be able to make this happen? Only time will tell. BQB once again switching it up. We'll be running the Tracer like we saw on Hollywood. And we'll be Climax running the Widow on attack here. So a Sombraless Route 66. Very unusual sight to see here in Korea.
Yeah.
Even with the nerfs, we were seeing her a lot on this map.
Ready to poke around the corner there. Humbaba takes a shot to the mech. Stunk down to half HP. They will be able to keep him up. Reload is just going to be halted here at the corner for the moment. Godspeed hunting, making sure this is not going to be flanked there through the tunnel. Takes a little bit of damage, just drops down to the low ground, but Bebe, he's going to pay the ultimate price. He goes down. Roki as well. No supports available for X6. O2 Ardeont exploding forward here on this initial attack.
Godspeed has really struggled when BQB is on the Tracer tonight on the Widow, because BQB normally can help burst down the tanks, can help bleed them out when they try to dive in and kill the Widow. But when he's on the Tracer, he can do damage, but he can't hack. He can't limit the mobility options of the tanks. So Godspeed gets caught, has to grapple away, is out of position, and is killed here on the stagger. So O2 Ardeont with total control, ult advantages here now.
Looking for this last second contest. So they're going to go low, but gets topped back up. Violet and Rain going to be closer to their respective support ultimates here as BQB tries to finish off Violet, drops down onto the low ground, goes into the tunnel with him, finds the stick, and he will die. No fight in the meantime, traded back as Climax finds the shot there onto the monkey.
So close.
He goes forward, finds that Mega Pack, dashes away, the stick not quite there from Stellar. And he manages to get Ria out of that mech. BQB still going to be alive. Payload dangerously close, and members still dying on the side of X6. They managed to trade back a couple ones there, but Bebe's going to go down. Roki joins him in the grave. No supports available yet again, and O2 Ardeont should be able to get to completion rather swiftly on Route 66. 2:15 on the clock as they get ready to push it in.
Just a bit surprising, again, we see BQB on this Tracer, and not the Sombra that he's dominated on, that he shut Runaway out of this grand finals with on this very map. Just so odd, it's really hurting Godspeed. He's not able to control with the Widow as he was before, and Climax is given control of line of sight when the dive comes through. He's picking off the supports, and Godspeed is getting killed by the tanks, the front line. He's going to use this Infrasight for a vision advantage here.
Shot there, barely missing that one is Godspeed. The pick off on the Climax. Bubble going to be denying the extra chance.
Here he is again.
Jumps on, goes up onto the high ground, keeps himself alive, and has the pocket there for Roki. In the meantime, Nosefight's going rather deep. Has to jump back up over the top side of the canyon. Keeps himself alive. joining here with the rest of his squad. He's currently around half HP, but he'll be fine to go ahead and get picked back up. In the meantime, Rhea finding a double, essentially, as Mbaba gets popped out of that mech and Climax goes down.
BQB was looking for a stick here, but he doesn't hold it. As they do control this cart for the time being. Great time make for Ardeont. It feels like what Godspeed's role is here, as like wins this duel finally, is to build this aggression forward, bait the tanks in, bait the dive in, and then they counter dive on top of it. BQB comes in, No Smite and Rhea collapse on top of the weakened tanks. But it's very risky, and it's so far I think costing a big.
That's going to be the stick in on Godspeed. He goes down. Rez available, I do believe, from Roki, but not sure if he's going to get into position to actually use that one. Now BQB and No Smite goes down. 3 members dead. On the side of X6 with Rhea going low, now popped out of the mech.
Stellar is just having the performance of his life.
Explosive push forward here from the side of O2 as they start charging in. 3 minutes on the clock, getting ready to wrap around the bend.
O2 Ardeont has put Stellar in. He looks hungry. He wants to bring this into a real series. But they're not done with this yet. BQB roams around the back lines right now, trying to find the supports. He's found by Stellar. He's been losing this 1v1 match. Remember, he's not that experienced on the Tracer. Very rusty on it feels. Trying to play his same style.
Yeah, recalls out. So we're now going to be ahead of him. Healing has that pulse bomb ready to go with 70% already built up. BQB not going to be nearly as quick with this as he is with those EMPs. Shots coming in as both Mercy's taking this guy with a Valkyrie. And then getting jumped on, has that Transcendence. Should he need to pull? Should he start to hold under this pressure? But so far hasn't been able to hold on to it. Primal Rage out from Yakumo, looking for the hit, but 2 are dead. Rhea with that Diva Bomb taken out. The Mercy taking out the Widow, but it just does not matter because the rest of O2 Ardeont are going on a rampage. They rip apart X6-Gaming, and now they're just 4 meters away from getting this completion.
They're going to grab it.
It's going to be the Primal Rage tag in from the side of No Smite to try to buy some time, but he's all on his lonesome. He's off the cart. 4.07 meters left to go as he and Rhea will die. And O2 Ardeont with Stellar back into the mix, picking up on
Stellar
66. They are charging through.
Stellar is doing what he could not on Control, where he was outmatched by BQB on the Tracer, outmatched on the Sombra. Now he's got the Tracer in the winning matchup. And Godspeed is not protected because BQB doesn't have the opportunity to hack with the Sombra. When you're doing damage to a tank as a Tracer, the lack of hack means they have bubble, they have defense matrix, they have mobility. That's what hack denies to the tanks when they try to dive. And now he's running this Tracer, just feels like this team isn't quite as coordinated. And he's continuing to run this, but with very little success. Climax taken out here by Rhea, so this push is halted in the meantime. This is by no means a flawless attack from O2 Ardeont, but this is the first time they show real signs of life in this series.
Yeah, other than that, you'd have to say it's round 2 on Garden on Oasis. That was about it. Everything else they have looked completely checked out. Now, here, entering into the garage, getting ready to wrap around that first corner. Stick comes in, BQB gonna be able to eliminate Climax. And you can see Stellar going low there as well, will keep himself alive. Down to 14 HP, 1 more hit would do it. They get the chase in, BQB manages to come up with a kill. Steady picks coming in, getting rid of the DPS, slowing down O2, draining away at that time bank. That's exactly what X6 needs to be focused on here at the moment, but you're gonna have to be concerned. Nearly 6 ultimates going to be online. Infrasight out from Climax here at the moment. Supports dangerously close to getting the Valve, getting that Transcendence up.
Yeah, he does pull up that Infrasight early. He's going to toss in the self-destruct, try to use that to get a kill here. It doesn't work, but they do demech Rhea. Look at Climax, uncontested at the moment. No one is touching him, no one is affecting him. So he has full line of sight, and he's doing the damage.
Yeah, and Bebe uses that Transcendence to try to keep himself alive.
Super early.
Rhea going to be brought back in, gets into the mech.
Very early Transcendence.
And Godspeed finds the shot there on the Climax, taking him down. More time being fought here from the side of X6-Gaming. Payload not moving up really. They go ahead, they contest. Self-destruct up into the air, looking for a pickoff. Rhea finds one, gets the Widowmaker. And O2 are going to be falling down under a minute as Godspeed finds a near point blank shot there on Durain. Short distance.
He's chasing, he wants more. He's had so many great headshots in this moment, very clutch here. After the Transcendence was burned early from Bebe because they felt desperate there. They thought they were going to be outclassed by the tanks. Tanks went low, he had the Transcendence, but it gains value because Godspeed gets back into position, gets those headshots off after Violet's Transcendence expires. And they do finally regain control. 40 seconds left is all that O2 Ardeont have to push this through.
QB hunting, pulse bomb ready to go. Stellar trying to keep tabs on him. Maybe even trade back. The Bulls bump of his own. He's going in, but the defense matrix is there. He's not going to get anything. In the meantime, Climax finds the shot there on the Godspeed, but he's looking for more. Reg comes in from Roki, helping bring Godspeed back into the fight. Shots coming through, but Climax not going to be wavering yet. He is still pushing forward. Dive comes in from Rhea. The follow-up from BQB. They take down Climax. And now it's just 9 seconds left on the clock. O2 Ardeont trying to get this completion. The res comes in from Rain.
He's got one more shot. That's all he's got with this Widow to force this through to get completion.
Yakplung has already used that Primal Rage. He's chunked down to half HP. Humbala as well, getting ripped apart with a mech. He is going to get knocked out in the end. Self-destruct from Rhea finds two. Baby Diva and Stellar both go down. Violet uses that Transcendence, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep him alive. The pressure is too much. It's too great, and he will crumble. No Spite finds the kill. BQB feeling a bit saucy now. Goes forward to finish off Rain, and that will be the hold in the end. But still, looking good is O2 Ardeont with Stellar on the swap to Tracer.
Stellar,
they nearly make it all the way through.
Stellar with the swap to Tracer here, or the swap to Stellar, he plays the Tracer, not the Sombra. And it's the Sombra versus Sombra matchup that BQB is losing. Or Tracer versus Tracer, my apologies, guys.
We're so used to that.
Yeah, the Tracer versus Tracer matchup is the one BQB is losing, but not because he's being outclassed in terms of picks. He's got his fair share of backline picks and kills, but he's unable to peel for Godspeed. And when you're playing against Climax, when he's got line of sight advantage on the attack, you often do. It's very difficult for Godspeed to win those trades, win those exchanges. But when we get to the end, when we get to point 3, when they're looking for completion, it's very difficult to attack around that corner with the Widow. Godspeed is saved by Transcendence, gets several opening kills, the cart rolls back, and he's just left completely unchecked for the rest of the map. Faster respawns coming through means getting picks on tanks does not necessarily guarantee a kill on the Widow. So Godspeed's had a little bit of trouble on this map. We'll see now when sides switch, if BQB is just going to keep running this Tracer. My mind tells me he should not, but my eyes are telling me what we've seen in this series is that he will not switch. He will stick with the Tracer. We've seen a lot of crazy swaps in Grand Finals in Korea. Prophet and Hurek switching roles in the Grand Finals of Apex Season 4 comes to mind, with Hurek pulling out the Genji there. We'll see if he wants to continue to run this Tracer, but things looking really good for O2 Ardeont to force us to a 5th map, another map of control with this great attack. BQB locks in the Tracer. Mirrored compositions. Danson here wants to prove he can do on the Tracer what he has already on the Sombra. He's going to need to prove it now, because thus far he has been outclassed.
Yeah, shots ringing through. Rhea takes a little bit of damage here off the bat as Climax builds up 30% of that infra sight. Godspeed now just going to be checking the corner. Through the tunnel. Find much, has the boosted damage in with the help from Roki. It's that opening frag. Crack the defense here from the side of O2 Ardeont so they can start steamrolling through with this push. Dropping down onto the low ground. Dive comes in from Yakplung. He's got that Discord Orb in onto him. He's just going to get shredded down. Still alive here for the moment, but
great play by Roki.
Will get taken down. Humbaba's dead as well. Stellar now eliminated. They trade one back as No Smite falls, but O2 Ardeont, they're going to go for likely just one last little contest here.
Overextension by Yakplung 100%, but also really great play by Roki to make sure that Godspeed lived there. Without that really quick thinking and fast healing coming through, this could have been a pretty decent trade for O2 Ardeont. It was not. Ended up losing everybody, so free push. We're looking at a really similar attack timing here now for X6. Control of ult advantage as well as sightlines in the Widow versus Widow. That is everything.
Yakplung already comes back in, takes that shot to the head, and Violet's going to be dead. BQB just back into the backside of O2 Ardeont. Takes down Climax as well. They suffer 2 losses. Stellar goes low. Humbaba's out of the mech yet again, and BQB looking much better on this attack, it would seem, with this Tracer. Stick comes through. Yakplung goes down. Follows up for Rain. BQB, this man is on fire. Where was this? On the defense, suddenly just starts popping off. I don't know if it's him or maybe they swapped Yobi into the booth. Good God.
We have to add the asterisk, though, that they had control, and O2 Ardeont was spilling out of choke points. They were spilling out of areas where they were taking extra damage. It's much easier in those positions when you're on the attack, when O2 Ardeont has to come out of those narrow corridors to get massive value on the Tracer. Narrowly avoids getting his head taken off here by Climax, but such good control here of this point right now is what X6 has. I'm going to trade these infra sights here. Let's see what Climax can find with this. Does have a disadvantage in line of sight, but finds the angle here, the flank. unseen by Godspeed, but he's behind a rock.
Has the infrared, but he's going to be jumped on. BQB goes in the back, takes him low. 23 HP remaining. We'll get pocketed back up. The heal coming in from Rain. They managed to keep him alive, even trades back a couple body shots there at the end.
Yakpung using that Primal Rage is very painful because he used it during a time where his Widow was under duress and they couldn't actually carry anything.
Oh, looking for the full clip into the backside. Can't get it, and Climax actually takes him down with the help of Violet. Yet again, the communication between Climax, Rain, and Violet has been absolutely wonderful.
It really has. Yakpung, I don't want to put him in the same equation. He's been very aggressive. He's often overextending.
Oh yeah, I think he has his mic turned off.
But, I mean, he's going in, he's being Discord, he's being killed while Climax is under attack, but Climax does get the heals there coming in from Rain. They turn that fight around.
Yet again.
And he has, for the first time on this defense now, full line of sight advantage. This is the same choke point that they had to go through to defend. Now X6 has to go in on the attack, and it's not easy.
Godspeed finds that little flick there over to the side, takes down Rain. Res is going to be available, finds the shot there on the Humbaba. Yakpung dead in the self-destruct, not going to find anything, and BQB goes forward, takes down another one as Violet gets eliminated. Climax heading for the hills, or heading into the hills rather.
Huge moment
back
there.
Towards the garage.
Wasting the self-destruct, remake not possible. Fantastic player from Godspeed. Now he's got control of this choke point. It's going to be difficult to exit. Look at the tanks. Just making sure they can do massive damage. So when the first tanks come out of O2 Ardeont so that the Widow shots can, even if they're body, DMAC a Diva or kill a Winston.
It's going to be a self-destruct out coming through from Maria. Onto the low ground, Godspeed looking for the point-blank duel here with Stellar. That's going to be the pulse bomb going through, but not going to be finding much, and no fight in the meantime. Pops that Primal Rage, gets rid of Climax. Stellar still dashing around, still trying to eliminate it, but he just can't take down Godspeed. The pocket from Roki is just too damn strong. Can't finish him off. Rain goes low, Bebe finishes him down, takes him down in the end. Godspeed back up over the top, getting those shots in, gets rid of Stellar this time around. Now he's got some distance, follows up for another one against Yakpung.
Roki is so good at keeping this guy alive. Have you noticed, you pointed this out actually earlier in the series, I think it was on Hollywood, when Tracer harasses Godspeed, he doesn't flinch, he doesn't blink, he continues to aim, he continues to do damage. He has trust that Roki will keep him alive, and the counter dive from No Smite and Rhea will keep him safe. They will get those kills, they will trade it. Then when the tanks die trying to dive him, he's got full control over line of sight. He gets those backline kills, and it's just a highlight reel. BQB, oh, he's got a Widow in his sights.
BQB taking a bit of damage, has that Mega Pack to help keep him alive. Violet, a prime target. Violet gonna be dead. Godspeed finds two more. Takes them out already as they keep charging forward. Res comes in from Rain, brings Violet back into the fight, but Yakpung is dead yet again. O2 Ardeont, everything riding on these final 3 minutes. Need to complete this hold, but the cart right now is moving forward unhindered. It's entering into the parking space, and no one's stopping it.
No
you
one
gotta
can
tag
get
in. Yakpung manages to get in the end, but Climax has already been eliminated. Self-destruct in onto the cart. Humbaba throws it down, but Godspeed maybe even no remake available. Yakpung trying to stay alive, but he is a lone tank onto the cart. Stellar, he's dead. Yakpung, he's gone. Red finds 2 and X6. They close it out on 4-0 versus O2 Ardeont, taking them down. Such a swift and concise victory, and they are your Contenders Korea Season 1 champions.